There you see Lyle Bymbaugh. He is not hating playing Jund. He is in the feature match table, presumably doing pretty well, either X1 or XO. His opponent, William Crowdus, playing Esper tokens. I was going to try to slow roll the token part of it, Choi. That's our director, Choi, who messed that up for you guys. Sorry to ruin the surprise. Esper tokens from William Crowdus. Now, that's one we haven't seen since, well, I don't think I've seen that since last February.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I don't mean like last month, I mean 13 months ago.
Augur of Bolas on turn 2 makes no hit on instants or sorceries.
So whiff off the Augur.
Turn 2, Farseek.
That is exactly the kind of thing Jund wants to do. Now this is something that, and looking at Lyle's list, this is a pretty classic looking list. In fact, I'd say this is identical to Reed Duke's list that he posted in his article last week, so if not very close.
In for one.
The thing about Jund is it's extremely powerful. The other thing about it is it's 3 colors and does not have the same ways of fixing its mana beyond Farseek that some of these 3-color blue decks have. So a lot of times what I've noticed is the Jund deck stalls because it can't find its spells. That's how Jund usually loses.
Lingering Souls off of Isolated Chapel. Sorry, off of Vault of the Archangel. So now we've got 3 creatures in play. Lingering Souls hanging in the background. Huntmaster of the Fells from the other side. And yeah, what you're saying about just that access to color.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you keep in mind, like, you have Garrick, which costs 3 green. You have Mizium Mortars that Overload costs 3 red.
Yep.
You know, things like that.
Not to mention access to cards like Dreadbore or Olivia Voldaren, which require regular use of red or black.
Yeah. So a turn 2 Farseek is exactly what Lyle wanted. He got it and now has a turn 4 Huntmaster, but yeah, just 2 spells for Lyle.
Now, William Crowdus' deck, it says Esper tokens. There are so many token-based cards in here. Lingering Souls, Midnight Haunting, Talrand Invocation, Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, and then Intangible Virtue and Favorable Winds. He casts a main phase Midnight Haunting to prevent the Huntmaster from flipping.
Yeah, there you see getting a couple more spirits. So Huntmaster does not flip. Lyle untaps, has access to right now Olivia Voldaren, I believe a Dreadbore is there, an Arbor Elf, a Rakdos' Return, and a second Huntmaster, which is what he's going for here. Double Huntmaster, double Wolf.
William Crowdus. He is definitely also doing the, is there a miracle here? There are no miracles in his deck, but he is playing like there might be.
I think it's a nice habit to be in.
Really,
I
agree.
Honestly, I noticed I do it automatically now, even when, because I'm in the habit of playing with miracles. Suddenly now I'm just looking for miracles when there's none in the deck. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Oh, I'm not saying it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's something, everything's right with it, because you're presenting the possibility of miracles even if you don't have them. Now, I guess if you do have them, you're kind of giving it away if you're checking.
Oh, boy. Bonfire of the Damned takes care of all of those tokens.
Speaking
and
of miracles,
the Augur of Bolas. That is 6/1/1 flying spirits dead and an Augur of Bolas.
Completely resetting William's side of the board while maintaining his own side. Speaking of miracles, right off the top, a bonfire right on time. 3 main deck bonfires in Lyle's list. And a Sorin will come down for William. Sorin's going to have quite the quite the battle here to he's gonna have a tough time defending against all these guys.
You see the vampire finally appearing from our helpful helper there.
See a Woodland Cemetery from Lyle, and he is going to well, I mean, if he okay, he's sending everybody in at William, so it looks like Vampire's going to jump in front of Huntmaster. 6 is going to connect, and of course William's going to gain 1.
Rakdos.
And Rakdos' Return.
That's for the kill.
Will end the game in Lyle's favor. And you see how powerful Jund is when it can cast its spells. Like, okay, I have a turn 2 Farseek, turn 3 nothing. And maybe he played Huntmaster on turn 3. But you know, then it's like Huntmaster, and Bonfire Rakdos return. Like, how many did he literally only play? 4 spells, 5 spells.
His Farseek into Huntmaster,
another Huntmaster,
in Huntmaster, Bonfire, Rakdos returns.
Yes, 5 spells. So
William
all very powerful.
William Crowdus' sideboard. It's not particularly exciting for this match. He has Supreme Verdict to reclaim the board after Lyle has taken it over, but that's not the game that he wants to be having happen. What he wants to have happen is he wants to be developing the board. It's very interesting. His sideboard has Supreme Verdict, Beckon Apparition, Tragic Slip, Azorius Charm, and Appetite for Brains. And honestly, I don't think that his board is particularly exciting against his opponent. It's his main deck that is the part that he's going to be probably working off here. I'm not sure what combination of Supreme Verdict and Appetite for Brains would be worth considering. Appetite for Brains takes out Garruk, takes out Thragtusk, takes out Huntmaster, takes out Olivia Voldaren. But the Supreme Verdicts, while they can return a board that was controlled by the opponent back to a neutral state, are not exciting in a token deck.
On the other side, Lyle, of course, doesn't actually have a sideboard dedicated to dealing with Esper token strategies, because tokens are not typically part of the metagame. However, he does have some cards that he could use. An additional Bonfire would be the 4th one. Obviously, very good against William trying to just, you know, spew tokens all over the board. Bonfire or mass removal of any sort is pretty good. I don't think he wants to be trading 1 for 1 here. He's got, you know, Tragic Slip and 2 Pillar of Flames, but I don't really like those. He could potentially bring in something like Ground Seal, just because he has seen Lingering Souls, and it does draw a card. So I believe that works for Lingering Souls. Or does Ground Seal?
The Ground Seal won't stop the Lingering Soul.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
In that case,
yeah, I think that
not bringing in Ground Seal.
I think that there's reasonable reasons to bring in Duress.
Yeah.
To bring in Bonfire of the Damned, and he didn't really see much else besides a lot of spirit tokens. So the rest of it,
he could presumably bring in Acidic Slime, because assuming that there may be Intangible Virtue after he saw all those tokens. Fair. That's the only other one I picked up. So,
for those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here with Joey Pasco, William Crowdus on the right, Lyle Bymbaugh on the left with John. William's deck, a very unusual token-based deck, Esper colors, running Lingering Souls, Midnight Haunting, Talrand Invocation, Sorin, Intangible Virtue, and Favorable Winds as its primary token enhancing and creating abilities.
Yeah, I can see Lyle boarding out Liliana. Her sacrifice ability is lackluster. The discard is, well, it's symmetrical for one thing.
Yeah,
not great.
Liliana and Murder stick out as not exciting cards in this matchup. Tragic Slip also sticks out as a not particularly exciting card.
Yes, he's got some room in there to maybe bring in some more mass removal, as we mentioned, the Bonfire, potentially the Acidic Slimes, and the Duresses, as you mentioned. Looks like we're just about to get underway.
Now, William actually was in a great position up until that Bonfire of the Damned made things just be changed entirely. I would not be surprised to see William make a different kind of set of plays. For example, rather than flashing back Lingering Souls in the previous turn, he could have cast Sorin and then used the minus ability to immediately make an emblem, and then gotten in a bit more damage, and then followed up after the Bonfire with Lingering Souls, and perhaps just a slight change to realize that, oh, there is Bonfire of the Damned in the mix.
Yeah. And it looks like both of them are going back to Paris. Taking the Paris mulligan, going to 6 cards. Esper tokens, I'm surprised really to see that. I'm trying to think if I've seen it ever since I think the first time we saw Esper tokens was when it was kind of like the obvious deck post. I'm drawing a blank as to the Dark Ascension. That's what I was looking for. Is it post Dark something? Okay,
post the Dark.
Yeah, it was
along
after
with
that.
Ball Lightnings and stuff.
Yeah, so post Dark Ascension is what I was looking for there. When you saw Sorin, you saw Lingering Souls printed. So it's like, hey, there's a black-white tokens kind of thing going on here, or maybe Esper tokens. That was kind of where people were thinking, but that didn't really pan out. And I feel like if we've seen it since then, it's been kind of a flash in the pan sort of thing. So, are these players XO or X1 as far as we know? We're going to find out. Either way, it's impressive that to be here in round 6 at X1 or XO.
William Crowdus here, down the first game. And what he's looking to do here, essentially, is just get an aggressive start, get an intangible virtue or favorable wins in play, and then theoretically a bonfire shouldn't hurt him because he should always have enough tokens to recover with.
And is William... Oh, it's another mulligan for William. Lyle seems to have kept his 6. And that's not where you want to be for William. He's down a game. Both of these guys are X1, by the way. Down a game and mulliganing to 5 here. So if you didn't hear us talking about it before, heads up, the Invitational is coming up.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, April 4th through the 6th are the official dates. It's just under 3 weeks away. Of course, this is the Open Series presenting or featuring the Invitational. So you don't have to be qualified for the Invitational. You can show up and actually just play in the Open Series events if you're not qualified for the Invitational. Both Standard and Legacy will be happening that weekend. But of course, the Invitational is the the event that'll be under the spotlight.
The Invitational, I mean, check for Invitational qualifiers near you. If they don't have any near you, get your store to run a Invitational qualifier. You can find more information about this very easily on the StarCityGames.com website. These are small events which the winner of will be invited to the Invitational. And the Invitational, I have to tell you, unless you are in the Magic World Cup, this is perhaps the highest expected value return from a tournament you can get. The amount of money that is given out to the amount of people who show up, it is truly incredible. I know, talking to Sam Black, for example, he said he would skip a Grand Prix to go to an Invitational, and he actually did not do well in the last Invitational in Los Angeles, and then over the course of the next 2 days, did well in the Open Series and made a lot of money just because of that.
Yeah, it's quite a weekend, and we have these 4 times a year, so you'll want to, if you can make it to one, it's quite the weekend to be at. We've got a game now. William on the play has a turn 1 Glacial Fortress, turn 2 misses his land drop, and in fact misses untapping his Glacial Fortress. You see the judge reach in and untap it for him.
Farseek.
Not looking great for William. Down to 5 cards. His opponent has a turn 2 Farseek, which is exactly what Lyle wants to be doing. I believe that's a promo Farseek.
It is not the normal art.
F&M promo.
And William, no land.
Wow.
24 land in his deck. 23 land hiding in there somewhere. And Lyle.
From Lyle.
Let's both discard, he says.
I didn't exactly think that was the best card to bring in, but
that's not the right play. I don't think you should lay, I believe, your land and your Huntmaster there, or your land and your Olivia. William can't even cast his spells. Making him discard doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he's discarding on his own.
Let's both discard. Okay. Another spell I can't cast.
Yeah. And Olivia
There's
comes
Olivia.
down for Lyle. Yeah, see, the crazy thing is, what is Liliana possibly going to do here at best? What, is she going to ultimate and leave him with a land and a guy? He had only a land. It's not going to go anyway. So Augur of Bolas from William finds Lingering Souls. William trying to dig back into this game, facing down a Liliana on 5 and an Olivia Voldaren. Not to mention whatever Lyle has to follow it up with. He's got a Thragtusk there. Now he's going to make
there you go.
make William
-2.
sacrifice the Augur. And here comes a Thragtusk after, I believe, Olivia crashes in. Yeah, so that's the first damage of the game. I feel like Lyle could have had a much better start than this, but given William's situation, I just don't agree with Liliana. But he's still in excellent shape.
No black mana for William to flash back his Lingering Souls. Oh, there we go.
He's going to take 2.
Cast Lingering Souls from hand.
No, he's got a
Detention
Detention
Sphere.
Sphere for Olivia.
Thragtusk hanging out.
And
Let's both
Liliana is
discard.
going to tick up.
Another card that William is not minding to discard there. In with the 5 there from Thragtusk.
Yeah, Lyle with just a Tragic Slip in hand. William has Slip, Intangible Virtue, I believe a second Intangible Virtue, and a Midnight Haunting.
Wow, does not cast anything. That means that the Haunting is what Lyle should be expecting if he remembers game 1.
Yeah.
In with Thragtusk.
And
Haunting.
Midnight Haunting.
Block with one of them. Tragic Slip the other. Huntmaster. Let's both discard.
Lyle building up quite the board state. William digging back in here. Or at least trying to. William at 10 life. Discards a Tragic Slip. Draws his card for the turn. Finds his 4th land. And he looks like he's got an Intangible Virtue and a flashback Lingering Souls. Not a bad turn.
And now he is really starting to mount some presence on the board.
Lyle looking for the Bonfire on top, doesn't find it, but I believe he got a Mizium Mortars, which he's 1 mana off of casting for Overload. And no, he's just going to go ahead and use it.
And knock William down to 1 life.
Yeah, so he uses Liliana to make William sacrifice 1 token, and then Mizium Mortars on the other. Crashes in. William should be at 1 there, and
that's it for William, because all that
Lyle
Lyle has to do is not cast something, and William would die to the Huntmaster of the Fells.
Yeah, Jund is pretty powerful, but it's even more powerful when your opponent is stuck on 1 land for the first 4 turns.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because some decks, you might